This week in NASCAR has been something else. You wake up, you check the news, and you think, wait, what just happened? Because in just a few days, a lot has changed. We've got a huge opportunity opening up for a driver nobody expected to see in a big NASCAR seat. We've got a Cup Series driver suddenly sidelined by a health issue, right before race weekend. And on top of that, NASCAR just handed out a suspension, one that could seriously hurt a top team heading into Phoenix. 3 big stories, all happening at once. And when you look at them together, it tells you a lot about where this sport is right now. New faces trying to break in. Pressure on drivers every single week. How fast things can go sideways. So today at RaceCar Nation Report, we're breaking all 3 of these stories down. And trust me, one of them involves a name that a lot of YouTube racing fans already know very well. But real quick before we get into it, if you're a real NASCAR fan and you enjoy honest conversations about this sport, drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. This channel is brand new. We're building a community of real fans. And the first goal we're working toward is hitting 1,000 subscribers. All right, let's get into it. Story 1, Cleetus McFarland. The first story is honestly pretty wild. If you've been following NASCAR and the car community on YouTube, you already know this name. Garrett Mitchell, better known online as Cleetus McFarland, is officially making his debut in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026, and he's doing it with Richard Childress Racing. Yeah, that Richard Childress Racing. His first race is scheduled for April 4th at Rockingham. He'll be driving the number 33 Chevrolet. Sponsored by Tommy's Express, a national car wash chain. For Cleetus, this is a massive moment. If you've been in the car community on YouTube, you know exactly who this guy is. He built one of the biggest automotive audiences on the platform. Drag racing, crazy car builds, wild stunts. It's content nobody else was really doing. He started his channel back in 2009. Today he has over 4.65 million subscribers and more than 1,700 videos. That's over 15 years of grinding and building something real. But this opportunity didn't just fall out of nowhere. Earlier this year, he made his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut at Daytona. He drove the number for Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. And things actually started well. He was running inside the top 10 early in the race. That's not easy at Daytona, especially for someone still learning these cars. But on lap 6, he got caught up in a crash. His day was over. Finished 37th. Not the debut he wanted, but it got people's attention. And apparently it got Richard Childress Racing's attention too. Because here's the detail that surprised a lot of people. RaceCar reached out to him first. They told him they wanted to develop him as a driver, give him a real opportunity to grow in NASCAR. And his response is exactly what you'd expect from Cleetus. Something along the lines of, "Hell yeah, brother." He talked about how honored he feels to work with a legendary organization, learning from people like Richard Childress himself, along with Mike Verlander and Danny Lawrence at their headquarters in Welcome, North Carolina. Now this deal is part-time, at least for now. Cleetus confirmed on his Facebook page, the current plan is 3 races per year. But there's definitely the possibility it grows into something bigger if things go well. In his sponsorship deal with Tommy's Express, that's a 2-year contract. So we'll be seeing him around NASCAR for a while. He's also still racing in the ARCA Menard Series. In 2025, he ran at Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte, and Bristol. Building experience, getting more comfortable in stock cars, while keeping his YouTube career going. But honestly, the most emotional part of this story isn't about the contract. It's about Greg Biffle, Cleetus said. The one thing he wishes more than anything is that Greg Biffle could have been here to see this moment. As many of you know, Biffle passed away in a plane crash on December 18, 2025. The two of them became close friends after working together during the Hurricane Helene relief efforts in 2024. That friendship grew fast, through their shared love of motorsports. They did drag racing together, car builds, crazy projects. And that content helped introduce a lot of Cleetus' audience to NASCAR culture. When Biffle passed, it hit the racing community hard. Cleetus was actually one of the speakers at his memorial service at Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte back in January. So this moment with RaceCar carries a lot more weight than just another race on the schedule. It's going to be fascinating to see how fans react when Cleetus hits the track at Rockingham. Whether you love the idea of YouTube personalities coming into NASCAR, or you're skeptical about it, One thing is undeniable. He brings a massive audience with him. For a sport always looking for new fans, that might be the most valuable thing he brings to the table. Story 2. Alex Bowman. Vertigo 5:52 9 o'clock, alright? Let's move to the second story. And this one is a lot more concerning. Alex Bowman will not be racing this weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Hendrick Motorsports announced on March 5th, Bowman has been diagnosed with vertigo. He has not been medically cleared for Sunday's Straight Talk Wireless 500. The symptoms started last weekend at Circuit of the Americas. Bowman began feeling ill during the race. He eventually had to exit the car on lap 71. After that, the team put him through 2 full days of medical evaluation. They even had him drive a streetcar at the 10/10ths Motorsports Club road course in Concord, North Carolina, just to see how he felt behind the wheel. But after all of that, doctors said no. He should not race this weekend. So the number 48 Chevrolet will be driven by Anthony Alfredo. Alfredo is 26 years old. He already has a real NASCAR experience. 210 starts across NASCAR's National Series, including 43 races at the Cup Series level. He also does a lot of simulator testing for Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet, so he knows this team. He knows this equipment. He's not walking into an unfamiliar garage. But still, this situation is genuinely tough for Bowman. He's from Tucson, Arizona. Phoenix is basically his home track. This is the race his family and friends circle on the calendar. And according to Hendrick Motorsports president Jeff Andrews, Bowman really wanted to be in that car this weekend. Andrews said the team is encouraged by his progress, but they can't put him back in the car until he's fully cleared. There's no timetable, no shortcuts. His health comes first. And this is coming at a really hard moment in the season. Bowman is currently 36th in the Cup Series standings after a slow start to 2026. This also isn't his first time dealing with serious physical setbacks. He's previously dealt with a concussion and a fractured vertebrae in his back. Both forced him to miss races before. The good news, Hendrick? Motorsports plans to request a medical waiver from NASCAR that would allow Bowman to remain eligible for the 2026 Cup Series Championship. Even after missing this race, without that waiver, missing a race this early could put him in a very difficult spot for the rest of the year. We hope he gets healthy fast and gets back in that car soon. Story 3. Ross Chastain. Trackhouse suspension, minus 9 o'clock to 11:30 now. Let's talk about the third story. This one involves Ross Chastain and Trackhouse Racing, and it comes after a very chaotic moment at Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR has officially suspended 2 members of Chastain's pit crew. The 2 crew members are rear tire changer Kenneth Pasiga and jackman Josh Appleby. Both are suspended for the next 2 Cup Series races. Here's what happened. On lap 75 at COTA, the right rear wheel on Chastain's number 1 car came completely loose. Not during a pit stop, not under caution, under green flag racing conditions. And according to NASCAR's rulebook, specifically section 8.8.10.4, when a wheel comes off after leaving pit road, 2 pit crew members automatically receive a 2-race suspension. NASCAR enforced the rule, no exceptions. During the race itself, Chastain had already been hit with a 2-lap penalty for the incident. That penalty absolutely wrecked his race, dropped him all the way down to 35th place. And now, on top of everything, Trackhouse has to go into the next 2 races without 2 key crew members, including this weekend at Phoenix. Phoenix is not the place you want to go in shorthanded. This is the 3rd race of the 2026 Cup Series season. The track is also hosting IndyCar and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this weekend. The energy will be intense. Every pit stop will matter even more than usual. For Chastain, this is a rough stretch. He competes every week with championship-level intensity. His team works hard. When something like this happens, when a wheel comes off under green, it's not just frustrating because of the penalty. It creates doubt. You need your pit crew locked in and confident. Going into Phoenix without 2 of your guys is not how you want to build momentum early in the season. The next 2 weeks are going to be a real test for Trackhouse Racing, closing 11:30 to 13 o'clock. So when you step back and look at all 3 of these stories together, Cletus McFarland getting his shot with a legendary team, Alex Bowman sidelined by vertigo right before his home race, Ross Chastain dealing with pit crew suspensions heading into Phoenix, it really shows you how unpredictable this sport is. NASCAR moves fast. Things change overnight. The storylines off the track can be just as dramatic as anything that happens on it. And that's honestly one of the things that makes this sport so compelling right now. So I want to know what you think. Can Cletus McFarland actually develop into a serious NASCAR driver with Richard Childress Racing? How big of a setback is this vertigo situation for Alex Bowman and the number 48 team? And how much will the Trackhouse pit crew suspension hurt Ross Chastain over the next 2 races? Drop your opinion in the comments. I genuinely love hearing what real NASCAR fans think. And if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. If you're new here, subscribe to RaceCar Nation Report. We're brand new. We're building something real here. A community of honest, passionate NASCAR fans. First goal is 1,000 subscribers. With your help, we can get there. Hit subscribe. Drop a comment. We'll see you in the next one.